Live from the Spill Studios, located behind a liquor store off the I-35 interchange, it's time once again for a couple of cold ones with Corey and Carlisle, yo.
Man, is it that time again?
Disregard females, acquire cold ones. It is that time again.
Oh no. I thought I got rid of you, man. Last week you weren't here. You were busy with that. What was that thing called? Oh yes, Fantastic Fest.
Fantastic Fest.
Did you have a good festival?
Dude, I did. I really did.
I know that's
was
like
awesome.
that's almost like your Christmas.
Well, but no one thought it's my Christmas. This is my work week. I mean, it's weird because I work the entire time. I get no time to do anything for myself whatsoever. But man, do I love it. Especially this year, my wife Jessica had a badge and she took all week off, and so she was there all 8 days. And normally, like last year, she went down quite a bit, but we would take separate vehicles, and this year we just kind of set it up to where we always just left and we went down and came back together. So we saw a lot of stuff together this year, and it was a lot of fun.
You were working?
I was working.
Every time I saw you had a beer in your hand and you were talking shit. You weren't working.
When was that?
Let me see. Every time I saw you, no, I'm messing with you, man. I said you were so busy. I only saw you like scurry by like a little roach every now and then, or a little mouse. I would see it. I was about to say, hey, Carlisle, and you were just gone.
I was just gone.
Yeah, but so what was your favorite thing that you saw?
My favorite thing was my absolute favorite thing was the last movie I saw of the festival, which was the closing night film, Takashi Miike's 13 Assassins.
Oh, I almost went to that. I went to all of the secret screenings except for one in the morning, and the last morning they had that showing against something else, and I couldn't go.
Oh man, you missed out. That movie's so badass.
So I take it there's some ninjas and kung fu and boots to the head and all that kind of stuff. What is it?
It is essentially the Seven Samurai meets the Dirty Dozen. It is a classically told samurai tale about an evil lord, just a gleefully psychotic jackass who's in the position of being a lord, who's about to acquire a position that would put him in great power over Japan. And a lot of people don't want to see this happen, and a lot of people want to get revenge on this guy, and so a bunch of samurais are ordered to kill him in neutral territory, and it's about putting together this group of 13 assassins to go after this guy who's surrounded by like 200 samurais, and it is a badass historical action epic that is just incredible.
Damn. No, you got me. Sorry, I missed it.
Oh, it's going to get a theatrical release next year. I mean, it is the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon of samurai films. It is that film that is going to make people are going to watch it and go, holy shit, why don't we watch more samurai films? And they're going to go back. And by saying that, I don't mean that there's lots of wire fu or anything like that. Quite the contrary.
Okay, I was about to say, because when you said it was a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I was like, okay, I didn't miss anything.
No. Remember how when Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon came out, it blew everybody's mind and everybody went and started watching Wuxia? And everything that was coming out was wuxia. This is the same thing for samurai films.
Everybody except me. I was one of those people who just did not get Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I just wasn't into it. I thought it looked cool. I liked it, but I was like, I'm just not blown away by this like everybody else.
Well, this was done by Takashi Miike, who most people know because those who know him as a fucked up filmmaker. He makes just messed up films.
Audition, right?
Yeah, he did Audition.
Yeah.
He did One Missed Call. He did Ichi the Killer, Visitor Q. Lots of just weird shit.
Actually, Visitor Q, wasn't that? Which one was that?
You may not have seen Visitor Q.
Was that the one about the alien that came down?
No.
Okay, I guess I didn't see that one then.
Yeah, it's but God, the guy's.
But Ichi the Killer is fucked up. I've seen that and something else of his. So yeah, this wasn't like a fucked up samurai film. This is actually a straightforward historical epic.
No, that's the thing. This is a surprise. This is his greatest film. This is the best thing Miike's ever made. It is unbelievably awesome. It is so good. It's got flourishes to it. There's moments where you're like, okay, that's Mike having fun, but he takes this so seriously and makes it so unrepentantly badass. I mean, it's a Men on a Mission movie, like hardcore, and it's bloody, but it's not the Shogun Assassin style samurai film where they cut off limbs and there are gouts of blood. It's a very serious samurai film.
Okay, so you don't see dicks getting cut off and things like that then?
Nope, nothing at all like that.
Nice, nice.
It is exactly the type of thing that you will watch and you will go, that's how it's fucking done. That's awesome.
See, that's good to hear.
It's almost Kurosawa.
Now I wish I really had seen that because this year I love Fantastic Fest too. I've grown to really love that festival and think it's right up there, probably if not the best as far as just being a straightforward for the fans, creating a community of people who see each other every year, almost just like a family type atmosphere festival that I think for that reason is probably the best festival we have here in town. But this year it was kicking my ass, man, with the brutality. I mean, every morning I would get up to go see a movie and it would be some depressing, violent film, and I'm just like, I'm really getting sick of this shit.
And someone would get raped in it.
I saw one where someone I saw several films that were really just horrible, man. Not horrible that and that they were bad films. There was some of them were actually really good movies.
Soul crushing. Like taken individually, it's like, wow, that's a heavy film, but seen in succession, you're just kind of like, holy shit, I hate the human race.
Man, I would see it in the worst conditions, so it made me feel like I was being brutalized while watching this because my friend Ian and I. We have the greatest bromance ever told. We meet each other almost like two lovers meeting each other in Paris every year who cannot be together. You know, Ian and I, we're not gay or anything, but this is a bromance. We meet each other every year for Fantastic Fest because we don't always get to see each other. And then we hang out every night, just partying and having a good time and catching up. And the next morning I wake up with somewhat close to a hangover. And I get up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30, whatever, to go catch these secret screenings and then take on the day after that and work. And every morning I would sit there hungover, tired, just feeling miserable. And then I would watch these movies where people were being mutilated, torn apart, eviscerated, raped, beaten down, just emotionally, and I was just like, wow, I'm really beginning to give up on this, man, this week. And then after that, it picked up. I saw some really fun, original films after I got through a lot of the hard stuff.
Yeah, it all depends on what order you saw stuff, and thankfully I alternated things enough to where I saw enough positive stuff to keep me through on some of the heavy stuff. And that was just it. Like, the heavy, brutal films, they were all incredibly good. Like, I didn't see anything that was heavy and brutal that wasn't well done. Like, the films that were mediocre or bad were usually films that were trying to be fun and just weren't. So it was all executed well, but man, it was heavy.
Like, what did you see that you thought was bad?
That I thought was bad?
Yeah.
Well, the worst thing we saw this year was Hell Driver, which was one of the secret screenings.
Yeah, I actually stayed away from that one. I went to see something else.
Holy God, I have never seen that many walkouts in a film at Fantastic Fest in my life. Like, almost all of AICN was in there. Ain't It Cool News was in there at the start of the film, and by the end there were only two of us left.
Now, why did they walk out? Did they walk out because they just found it offensive, or was it boring, or was it just terrible?
It was the way Jessica put it was she felt that every scene felt like the climax. Like, everything was just screaming and intense and had the pacing of the last 3 minutes of an action film. And it was that straight for 2 hours without a break. And it had no real sense of a plot, and there was nothing going on, and there was nothing interesting. It was just bad.
Well, if you say everything seems like a climax, doesn't that mean that everything was exciting? Everything was building towards something big and some kind of spectacle?
No.
Okay.
Just that it's all frenetic and all over the place, and everyone's screaming and shit's blowing up, and it's happening constantly, but without you caring about characters, without you caring about what's going on. It's it's just all intensity all the time. It's you know what it's like. It's like death metal is to Jimi Hendrix. Where just
I think I know what you mean.
It's 2 hours of death metal where it's all.
Oh, okay. I got you. I totally understand what you're saying.
For 2 straight hours, where it's just like, fuck, you give me that for like 3 seconds of a song, and that could be, of a song that's well constructed. That's cool, but for 2 straight hours, no, thank you. And that's there were a handful of people that liked it, and everybody else was just, it was terrible. And of course, I've never walked out of a film. This was the film that tested me. I mean, this film tested me hard.
Now I kind of wish I had stayed to see it. No, I sat down and somebody said,
"No, you would have." Oh, you of all people, you would have walked out. This would have been your film this year.
Like, oh, really? Oh, okay, yeah. Because the people told me like there were people who were sitting there to watch it, and they said, "Look, if you have a choice to go see something else, go see something else. I'm staying to watch this because I'm trying to see everything. But really, if you're asking about it, you want to know about it, I'm telling you right now, go somewhere else." And so I left. I went to go see Cold Fish. What was it called? Hell Driver. What was it about?
Rock falls from outer space, turns people into zombies, and the zombies have these weird little antennas on them.
Oh, no, not a bad zombie movie.
Oh, and it's not even, yeah, it really is. And essentially the zombies have been cordoned off behind a wall, and they control one half of of Japan, and they've discovered that there's a master zombie that is controlling and creating all the other zombies, and they send in a bunch of people to go kill that zombie. But it's supposed to be kind of a Japanese over-the-top Trauma-esque comedy, and it just, man, it doesn't work.
Yeah, the Asians were the ones that were pissing me off this year, man. I mean, it was just every other movie I saw was some just like really horribly violent Asian film, and that movie Cold Fish was the one that tested me. I mean, it was a really good thriller up until the climax, and I'm sure you saw it.
I did not actually, but Jessica ended up seeing it.
Oh,
she
man.
feels the same way you did.
Oh, Jesus, at the end I was just like, and I felt betrayed because I was like, wow, this movie, I can see where it's going, and you're rooting for it to go that way, and it does go that way. Then all of a sudden, the thing that you're rooting for, or the person you're rooting for, all of a sudden says, you know what, I'm gonna rape somebody, and you're gonna sit there and watch. And it wasn't terrible, and they didn't linger on it in something like irreversible, but it was still like, wow, you really a person I was rooting for, I'm just all of a sudden just supposed to sit up here and watch him rape somebody and be okay with that and abuse some other woman. I'm just like, this is one of the most sexist and horrible things I've seen in the movie near the end. I got to give the movie credit for being so well made beforehand. I mean, it's such a good film before, and then at the end I'm just like, oh Jesus, man, why are you putting me through this again? But I don't know if I guess Jessica told you what the movie is about. It's about a guy who's just being, he's milquetoast. He's being beaten down by life. His wife doesn't want to give him any sex. She doesn't like him. His daughter is disrespecting him and hates the stepmother that he's or the wife that he's married to now because her mother, the real mother, died. And they meet this guy who has a fish aquarium or a fish shop, and he's like this friendly old guy that seems really cool and almost like the favorite uncle, and things just start to get a little more sinister from that point on. I love that kind of thing where, I mean, it was like the training day of fish, so I was really enjoying it. And then all of a sudden it just turned into that typical Japanese film where they have to just push the limits that might be a little bit too far for American audiences. Maybe over there they do that shit and they're okay with it, but over here I'm just like, I'm not with it, man. But other than that, did you see Troll Hunter? The Troll Hunter?
I did, yeah.
Oh, no. Sometimes when you say, oh, God, it either means that you love a movie or you hate a movie.
No, I said, God, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Or it means you're getting a blowjob at the moment. Yeah. I couldn't tell. I was like, well, maybe he's getting oral sex right now.
I love Troll Hunter, man. Troll Hunter was awesome.
Oh, man. I love that. When somebody told me that it's Cloverfield with trolls, I was like, okay, Cloverfield is one of my favorite movies. I'm there. And I was not disappointed. Right when I thought And see, this is how I see a lot of things. I mean, this is what's happening with zombies, and now it's happening with the found footage movie or the mockumentary film. Right when you think they can't do anything else with it, and it always ends the same. It always goes through the same motions. But right when you think like, all right, I've seen it all. They can't do anything else with it. Something else comes up like this. And I was just amazed, man, that they were able to make it interesting. Like I said, people, if you've seen Cloverfield, this is pretty much the same thing. It's just that it's a Norwegian film, takes place in the forest and the mountains instead of in the city of New York. And
I don't know if I would use Cloverfield as the example. I mean, people keep bringing up Cloverfield because it's science fiction, but it really is more akin to something like Blair Witch or Wreck, where you're following an actual narrative and it's not people running the whole time.
Yes, but it's the same. It's almost the same sense of Cloverfield as you build up towards these creatures, and there's a big reveal towards giant monsters. I mean, because Cloverfield was a creature feature, and so is this. Where like something like Wreck was sort of like a zombie film, and Blair Witch was just a bunch of people just yelling in the woods for an hour and a half. So yeah, that's why I thought that this was like Cloverfield, especially the climax of it. But it's a funny film too. It's not really heavy-handed. Yeah. It's at this point now where it's like, okay, we can't fool people with this anymore. We're not even trying to. So let's just kind of make fun of the genre, if it is a genre now, and let's throw a little bit of humor in there. And you think that's stupid, like Trolls and a found footage type film, but it works. And maybe it works because of the humor. But I really enjoyed that movie, man. I've enjoyed that movie a lot.
Oh no, it's great. It's in fact the only problem I have with the film is that it's a found footage movie. I wish there's a point in the film where the troll hunter is just like, look, all right, I'm going to show you what's going on. And I wish at that point they turned off the cameras and we followed them through the rest of the film as a normal film, because it's a good film. It's really good. The special effects are incredible. The trolls all look fucking awesome. It's a really good story. The mythology's great. But just I'm getting tired of the format. I've gotten to the point to where I've seen too many of these, and there's filler that doesn't need to be there, and I want to see more of I want to see it in more of a narrative structure. I really feel like we need to move away from this kind of thing, because it's just kind of getting boring. But Troll Hunter works because those monsters and all those scenes are so well done that it completely makes you forgive the fact that it's a found footage film.
Yeah, and I have to say that I agree with you in that the cracks are starting to show in this whole genre here. I mean, it's the problems that we see persist through all these films, which is mainly at some point there's some movies where people could just run away and just leave this shit behind. Why does a person keep holding the camera when they obviously should just drop it and get the fuck out? And that question persists in a film like this. It doesn't become any less acceptable to me the more I see it. In fact, the more I see it, I'm just kind of like, okay, this is really beginning to be a big flaw in these films, and I'm kind of tired of that. What can make this whole thing fresh to me is if they actually make a film where they make fun of that aspect right there of why that person still has that camera attached to them. I don't know, maybe this person has his camera strapped to them and it'll explode or something if it's taken off, but really need to do something else with that, because that's a big plot hole that's starting to really get bigger every time these type of movies come out.
Yeah.
But what else did you see?
Well, the other bad film I saw, the other one that really made me...
Oh, wait a minute, there's more?
Yeah, there was one other really particularly bad one that I didn't like, Mother's Day.
Well, now, that wasn't a remake of the original.
No, it is a
Mother's Day,
remake.
Oh, yeah, I kind of stayed away from those. Like, I could have gone to see I Spit on Your Grave, the remake, Mother's Day, and I was just like, what?
I saw I Spit on Your Grave. I Spit on Your Grave is great. We'll talk about that in just a moment. That was surprised the hell out of me. But no, Mother's Day is done by Darren Lynn Bousman, who did Saws 2 through 4 and then did Repo the Genetic Opera.
Oh shit!
And yeah, it's not a good film. It really isn't. It's one. Oh man, that movie would have pissed you off bad, because that movie. Oh, it does exactly what me, you, and Leon are always complaining about.
Oh yeah, what's that?
It's got those characters who just everyone in the film is stupid. The bad guys are stupid. The good guys are stupid. Everybody does stupid shit. constantly, and everybody ends up getting killed because everybody's doing stupid shit. It's one of those films that you look at it and you can say at one point, if this person did this like any rational person would have done in this moment, nobody would have died and we wouldn't have gone through all this.
You know, I can't stand that when the answers are so obvious and people keep doing dumb shit. I don't know. I've seen just too many movies like that, and I give up now. So maybe I wouldn't like that movie.
And it's over 2 hours long of that.
Oh, you fucking kidding me?
Oh no, he has a 5-hour rough cut of that film. Like there's actually characters he had to cut out from the film because he's got 5 hours of footage of this film.
Oh,
it's
my
awful.
God, somebody needs to beat the shit out this dude for doing this shit, man. It's Mother's Day, the remake of the because I remember the original horror movie. I mean, that's what I'm thinking of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a fucking.
This has very little to do with the original. It's a remake in pretty much name only.
Oh, why even call it Mother's Day then?
Because they had the rights to remake Mother's Day.
Fucking frustrated me.
Now the original wasn't very good either. I mean, it's not like the original Mother's Day is a classic.
No, it's actually a terrible '80s horror film. But it's not. First of all, it's not 2.5 hours long, and second, it's kind of done in fun.
It certainly isn't.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, what is?
Hey, you're preaching to the choir now, brother. I was the one that fucking saw it.
God damn, I dodged some bullets this year.
Although, you know what, I will say, I had an interaction over it with Darren Lynn Bousman as a result.
You always get in fights with directors, man.
No. This is just the opposite. This is Bousman earned serious points. What he did is he wrote a really great blog about the experience at Fantastic Fest and coming to grips with all the negative reviews he got. He felt that he had finally been free to make the film he really wanted to make and make one that wasn't as personal as Repo was, something that would appeal to critics. He brought it to Fantastic Fest. It was the perfect crowd. Everyone was hyped up. And then all these negative reviews popped up.
And they still told him he sucked.
The thing is actually his has the interesting distinction of the fact that half the reviews that came out of Fantastic Fest lavished praise on it and called it fantastic and brilliant and thought it was his best film and people loved it, and then the other half of us were like, oh fuck that, the movie's fucking awful, and like we hated it. And so his blog was all about how, trying to come to grips with the fact that he makes these divisive movies, and trying to figure out as an artist where he's failing and why he is creating films that are so wildly divisive within the same communities, and he can't, he's trying to come to grips with that. And it was a great piece. He said the most honest thing I've ever heard a director say publicly about their films, where he says, I've had the good fortune of directing a number of what are called critic-proof films with the Saw films, where it doesn't matter what the critics say, people are coming to see it anyway. But that doesn't make you feel any better when your movie's sitting at 10% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And, he was being just entirely honest. He pulled out quotes throughout this piece. If any of you want to read the blog, it's on his personal blog. If you Google Darren Lynn Bousman and blog, you'll end up finding it. But he quotes the really positive reviews and the really negative reviews. And in one of those reviews, he quoted me. And so somebody on my review had linked to the blog, and I read it, and I tweeted about it. And one of my buddies starts tweeting back at me, kind of taking shots at Bousman, and Bousman tweets at us both. And he had somehow found the thread of our tweets and apologized to us if he took us out of context, and was just nothing but a gentleman. And we tweeted back and forth a couple of times, and he was just an incredibly nice and honest artist who took the criticism like a real pro. Like it was the antithesis of what I had with
Kevin Smith.
Yeah. It was the exact opposite. This guy, say what you will about his films, he was incredibly cool about the situation, and as a result, it made me want to give his next film, a shot.
And now you love this movie.
What?
And now you love this movie.
Oh God, no, the movie's shit. No, fuck no, I hate the movie. I really do. And unless he completely recuts the film, and takes another pass at it, there's no chance of me ever liking anything about this film. I mean, there's some small moments that are good within it, but the film as a whole just made me angry. And it, until Hell Driver, it was the very worst film of the fest this year. We were considering it because every year there's one just abysmal failure, just something that is just catastrophic. Like last year was God, what was that film called? Gentlemen Broncos.
Oh, did that show at Fantastic Fest?
Yeah, it sure did. It was the opening night film. I think it was the
opening night film at the Paramount. Yes.
Yeah,
and that's not only the worst failure of that festival, but that's one of the worst failures I've seen in film ever.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So that's what we thought this year was until we thought Mother's Day was until Hell Driver, and Hell Driver just was like, wow, at least Bausman was doing something. At least I could follow a narrative. There are good performances. There's at least one character that I like, even though he makes a number of mistakes here and there. The film's competent enough, whereas Hell Driver was just like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
At 2 hours. So, and that's the thing, is the two worst movies of the fest were incredibly long, and you just couldn't get out of there. So it was. You got
to give a director credit for being at a film festival and being able to accept the negative praise, not the negative praise, but the negative criticism that he gets over the praise, because at a festival there's always going to be someone who enjoys your film. There's always going to be a group of people who enjoy your film. Yeah. And you kind of have to be honest with yourself and say, all right, are people liking this because they are in a festival atmosphere? Again,